year ago, my life was changed. A year ago, I was a little blonde Danish girl living in England and taking a risk which ended up altering me as a person. I was shy and reserved, and now I'm outgoing and more open to different experiences, although still very much blonde. I have spent the past year at Efterskole in Denmark, and I will not hesitate to say that it has been the best year of my life. To be able to go out on my own, take care of myself, and not have to focus on the academics has taught me so much. The Danish concept of Efterskole directly translates to after school. It is a residential gap year after the Danish equivalent of the GCSEs and before starting the A-levels. It is a year not purely focused on the academics, although there are mandatory maths, English, and Danish lessons. But the concept is to focus on hobbies and passions that we young people have. It is an enriching experience which equips us with essential life skills as well as preparing us for higher education. I went to a school called Vestbjerg Musik og Sports Efterskole. That's Vestbjerg Musik og Sports Efterskole. It is in central Jutland in Denmark. Many of these schools have different courses to focus on. Mine was focused on music and sport. My school offered football, music, gymnastics, horse riding, art, esports, and mountain biking. I have a horse, which I brought with me, and do horse riding, so naturally I chose gymnastics. I'm only joking, of course I chose horse riding. When I started, I kept mostly to myself. When I left, I was more outgoing and brave. The way that everyone is thrown together at the beginning of August with 170 teenagers who you've never met before and a roommate who you have to live with for the next 6 months and have your personal space invaded by is extremely scary as a 16-year-old. But it has taught me so much about living with a community and living respectfully with other people. It has also taught me things that maybe don't seem as important. For example, it taught me to be less picky with my food, as we didn't have a choice in what to eat. The first 2 weeks were definitely extremely hard, especially as someone who's considerably quiet. I found it very hard to just walk up to people and start having a conversation with them. My roommate, who's now one of my best friends, was much more outgoing than I was. And I remember thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for this, and being jealous of how she just got along with people from the very start. At the end of our second week, however, we were brought on a quote-unquote team building trip, which was very successful. There, I met one of my bestest friends, and if it was not for her, I would not have met most of the friends that I have today, and I'm extremely grateful for that. I chose to go to Efterskole last year, as although I did relatively well in my GCSEs, and I had an art scholarship ready for me at my old school, I didn't feel like I was ready for the A-levels. And that is the best decision I have made in all my 17 years of living. Last year taught me about who I am and who I want to be. It taught me to jump into the unknown and to not be shy. It taught me that I can take care of myself. It matured me. Before I started, I wanted to be a professional horse rider. Last year taught me that maybe I don't like horse riding so much that I want to spend every single day doing it. But it also taught me that I love maths and that the career of being an architect is extremely appealing to me. It gave me the time I needed to figure out what I wanted to do in my life. So why am I teaching you about this? I want to share with the world how this concept helps to make a happy and well-functioning young generation. After we graduated, I cried for days. And although it felt like the world was ending, all of us have come out of it being able to find the good in our new environments. And I think that that is an incredible skill to have, especially in these teenage years. This talk is not to try to convince you to send you or your children to Efterskole by any means. It's purely to teach about this Danish concept, which has taught me and so many other Danish young people so many things about ourselves and the world around us. I do hope that this way of schooling will be incorporated into other cultures. I'm extremely grateful that I got to go through my secondary education here in England, but I do think that the schooling system goes too fast. I think that making children decide what they want to do in their life at 16 is extremely harsh. That's why I think Efterskole is such a great concept, as it gives us kids the time we need to explore ourselves and our passions.